welcome to After Hours. Joining us this evening is Nancy Keough, who is the Executive Director of the Kettle Friendship Society. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So how do people find, you have a center, a drop-in center where people can gather, get information. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff, but how do people find you?
Find the Kettle? Well, we get a lot of people word of mouth. We've been on Commercial Drive, our main center, for 37 years, so the word on the street's out there about where we are and what services. We get a lot of referrals from mental health teams, hospitals, family members.
And what is your mandate?
Our mandate is to provide services to people living with mental illness. And our mission, our vision is to help people to live healthier lives.
Now when we say mental illness, what exactly does that mean?
Well, for us, we keep a very broad definition. There's people who have been diagnosed with a major mental illness like depression or schizophrenia, bipolar illness. And then there's many people who have post-traumatic stress, have had stressful things happen in their lives that have really impacted their ability to function in the world, often have depression and different issues that go along with that. So it means people's ability to be well, to feel well, to manage in the world, manage relationships.
So do you have a medical team or people there to help your clients? I hate to use that word clients, but the people who come to you.
Yeah, we say members. Usually most people come in are members.
Okay.
I know the language never works no matter what you use, but we're a complementary service. So people are mental health workers. They're trained as mental health workers that work at the Kettle. But we also work a lot with the community care teams and hospitals and doctors if people need more medical care.
Right.
We also we work from a harm reduction model, from accepting people as they come in, and our main focus is people have to have their physical health, their physical needs met also before their mental health can be well. So when someone comes in the door, we try to figure out, make sure people have eaten. We do have a medical clinic on site with a nurse 3 days a week. So she also supports people in getting involved in getting care of their health.
And so again, health, it's more than just the physical, it's the practical, like housing. Talk a bit about
yeah, we try to look at the whole person. We say we're a holistic service, and so from whether people have something to eat, like I was saying, the center, the drop-in provides meals every day, hot meals, to housing, people have a safe place to sleep. We have, so people can mainly come through the drop-in, and in the drop-in we have a homeless outreach worker who also goes out and reaches out to people on the streets in the mornings. Around 6:30 in the morning he goes out, brings people into the center, and then we try to hook them up with housing. We have 200 units of housing. The waiting list is very, very long, probably 7-8 years to get into that housing. But we do have homeless outreach worker, like I was saying, and another housing support worker that helps people get into at least something in the meantime. Try to find a safe roof that might be a little affordable. If we referring people to some local hotels, then we try to make sure it's places that we've heard, are decent and safe. But it's a challenge. It's a real challenge.
So how many core people do you have working there? Because it's well, I know it's a lot of work and you do a lot of things. Yeah. So how many core people do you have?
We have 100 employees. Wow. But we have 4 buildings that are 24-hour staffing. So that's a number of employees because there's 24 hours there. Like our transition house, Peggy's Place for Women, is staffed 24 hours. It's a specialized transition house, so women can stay up to a year, and which is
that's pretty unique.
Yes, the standard transition house is 30 days, but because women coming to us also not only have experienced violence, but they are also dealing with often post-traumatic stress and mental illness, often addictions. So people come in with very complex problems, and 30 days isn't enough time to really make a difference, you know, to really support women to change and to be able to get into future housing.
Earlier you used the term harm reduction. When I hear that, I think of drugs. So talk a bit about what that means, harm reduction.
There's certainly drug and alcohol issues with a fair number of people that we see. But harm reduction could be anything around what people are doing with their lives and literally reducing the harm in those choices that they're making. So it could be even if someone's been sleeping somewhere unsafe, to encourage them maybe to come inside to a winter shelter. That would be reducing, what we would see as reducing the harm to the person. Definitely the drug and alcohol issues, looking at different options for people, and people can't be in the center if they're stoned, if they're using at that time, but they can come in and get resources and support if they want to change that, or if they want to look at different options, or they'll come in when they are sober and not come in when they're not. People are very respectful of the center and the other people there. But drug and alcohol issues, again, that's not the primary focus. It's a side effect of illness, of poverty, of you know,
other problems in life. So when you're dealing with people, is it hard to, like you mentioned, try to encourage people who are maybe sleeping in an unsafe place outside to going to a place that's safer? Like, is it hard to try and help people but not take away their rights to make decisions? And how do you deal with all that?
Well, I think, first of all, we just always talk and remind the workers that people need to make their own choices, that our basic need to respect those choices has to be first. And working with people, it's developing the relationships. It's like going and talking to someone maybe 10 or 15 times and noticing that they obviously have an infection in their foot, and maybe they'll come in and see the nurse once. And it's just it's building those relationships.
And trust. There's a lot of trust involved.
Absolutely. And you know, once people do trust, then they're more open to talking about maybe their different options and willing to think about that and know they're not going to be judged, because a lot of people won't go into services because they feel they're going to be judged, so they don't want to come in to start. But we work on that, we build on that.
So you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Why did you get involved, and what is important about the work you do?
Well, why I got involved was I was a social worker back east in Montreal. That's what I used to do. And when I came out to Vancouver, I wanted to really make a difference. I felt I had done a lot of Band-Aid work and having a big caseload and all of those things. And I found the Kettle and worked on a grant there the first year. And it just really appealed to me that we were actually doing things with people and having the time to actually have a conversation and find out about what was going on in someone else's life. And I found that really exciting.
I know sometimes in institutions like the social services can be very judgmental.
Yes. Yeah.
So was that natural break for you to be open to people and communicate with them on an honest level?
Yeah, I think, it was very much the Kettle's beginnings was part of the very grassroots movement of a lot of social services, and that was a very good fit for me. I just felt like I could actually spend time with people, like I was saying, and hear what they would like. The programs were all founded on, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? What would be helpful? And coming from that perspective rather than a case study where I'm coming home to do an assessment at your house and, and definitely judge.
So how has the environment changed? Are people getting more help, so the numbers are staying steady or getting smaller in terms of the help that's needed out there, or are people having more problems because society's getting more complex and I can see why people would be having more problems.
Yeah. I think when you can get into services that some of them are excellent, and we see people getting into decent housing and, you know, coming to the art show and volunteering and, you know, maybe getting into our supportive employment. We see those people doing so well, and know that if you had enough, it would make a difference. But I've also seen the last few years the number of people, the suicide rate has been so high, the number of deaths, the funerals that I've gone to are heartbreaking, that it is, yeah, a lot of people get lost. And I'm really excited about, we have a partnership with the city for one of the new 14 city sites, and we have another housing project that's just $30 million donations been made by anonymous donors for a new 56-unit building that we'll be working with at Taylor Manor, and I'm just really excited to see that there's some things actually happening. But the waiting lists, like I said, are very long, and that really needs to stay very aggressively moving.
So it must be very hard. So on one hand, you're seeing such positive things happening, and it must feel very good. A lot of work, I know, but feel very good to see that happening. But then when you mention the suicides, what is it like to get to know these people and lose so many? Because it's intensive. It's not like maybe if you know somebody personally who committed suicide. It's big numbers of people.
Well, I think, you know, and
what does it mean for your mental health?
What does it mean for my mental health? It means I need to take care of it. and it also means that in January, when we have our dinner and dance and 400 people come and they bring their kids and their grandkids, and, you know, it's doing those things that really fill you up again. Like that really helps.
Successes.
It does, yeah.
Talk about the art show. You just, I think, finished having the art show.
We did. It was our 10th year with the East Van Art Crawl, and our show is called Art Against Stigma. And we had, I think, 42 artists this year, and they sold about $3,000 worth of art, which was great because all the money goes directly to the artists. And
that is great.
Yeah, and we got some sponsorship, which was wonderful. And there's just so many talented people. And it's a real mix of very obviously very skilled artists and people just beginning their journey of looking at their creativity, because we have a number of art groups at our homes and our residents that we have and in the drop-in. So it's just an all-out wonderful event. It's 3 days a year, and we hope we'll get in again next year.
I find in the art world sometimes, again, very much judgment.
Yes.
And so what is the scenario that makes that not happen for these people?
Well, we have the debate every year because someone just said to me, well, shouldn't you be jurying the pieces?